everybody. My name is Lasse Collin, and I am from Norway. Now, I don't know about you guys, but me and my friends, we love Linux. So I think we're going to make our own Linux distribution. It'll be awesome, I think. Now, we're going to distribute our Linux distribution on CD-ROM. Of course we would. It's 2008. Everybody distributes on CD-ROM in this year, right? And fewer CDs would be better. So I have been working on something. I've taken an existing compression algorithm, given it some tweaks, optimized it a little bit, made sure that it can run during installation. And I called this project XZ. And I'm pretty stoked about it. And also, other Linux distros are also quite interested in using it. So, I think I might save us all quite a few CDs. Hey guys, it's been 7 years. Well, about that Linux distro thing, it turns out making a full Linux distribution, that is a bit more difficult than we thought. So that project kind of went nowhere. But my compression library, XZ, that's been a great success. The Linux kernel itself actually uses it during the boot up phase. And I am now the main maintainer of XZ. So like the internet is built a little bit on what I made, which is very cool. I'm actually the only maintainer of XZ, and I don't really change the algorithm anymore. I guess you guys might be wondering, what does it mean to be a maintainer of like an algorithm that doesn't change anymore? Well, there's a bug tracker, and people do file bugs. It's usually user error, but I still have to respond to those. Also, we get all these compliance-related requests for information. And I guess I could use Mucky for this, maybe. But I have to respond to that as well. To be perfectly honest with you guys, it's kind of boring maintaining XZ at this point.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yatan. I am from Singapore. And I'm an open source user and potentially a contributor. Hey, Lasse.
Yeah?
I'd like to help. Late last year, someone created a patch to add decompression support to the command line tool. And it looks great, I think, but people are asking questions, why haven't you merged it back? Well, let me tell you, I've reviewed the patch, and it works on my machine. And I just did a small enhancement, like replacing some magic numbers with constants. I'm just trying to do my part as a helper elf.
I mean, wow, I get patches sent to me from time to time, but I always have to do the review work myself. That somebody else would actually do the effort of reviewing a fairly complicated patch, that's a new thing. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Here's a pull request that adds some sanity checks. According to the documentation, these values can never be null. But just to be sure, returning an error is better than a core dump, right?
Well, yes, well, you said it. It can't be null, but you know what? Hey, it's better code that way. Sure, I will accept it.
Yay! I'm officially a contributor now. That was my first accepted commit. Now that my first commit has been accepted, I'm going to work on a bigger contribution. I have an idea about adding filter options to the command line tool as a single string argument. I've been working on this for a month, and I'm quite proud of it. What do you think?
Hello.
Yeah?
My name is Jigar Kumar. I'm from India. I would like to just chime in and say,
Yeah?
don't bother.
Oh.
Patches spend years on this mailing list. There is no reason to think that anything is coming up anytime soon.
Okay.
This clown, this is the first time he said anything on this mailing list. I don't really bother responding to people who are just whining instead of contributing.
Hello, my name is Dennis Entz. I'm new around here. Hey, maintainer, what about those various suggestions about the Java implementation of XZ? I would like to say +1. Any updates about this?
Another day, another clown. I guess this is part of what open source maintenance is. I don't really want to bother responding to this sort of thing and these low effort requests with +1. But I guess I do feel a little bit guilty about it. You know, I'm quite happy that Yiatan has been helping me out. He's really been a godsend. You know, in the long term, maybe something does need to change with the maintenance of XZ. He's helped me off list quite a bit as well.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah.
You're better off waiting until the new maintainer happens, or just work it yourself. Submitting patches here have no purpose these days. The current maintainer lost interest or doesn't care to maintain anymore. It's sad to see a repo like that.
Oh, hey, Ross has responded.
Hey, you two, cut it out. This is a voluntary project for me. It's unpaid. You know, I still really am interested in maintaining it, but my ability to care, you know, it's been a little bit limited because of some mental health issues, okay? Be patient with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mental issues?
Unbelievable. We got him.
Amazing job, team! This is the big one, the one we've been waiting for. Our way to get a backdoor into Linux. Now it is on me to get accepted as a co-maintainer.
Hey, Gia?
Yeah?
Could you do me a favor? You've been so useful so far.
Thank you.
Could I ask, would you mind becoming a co-maintainer of XZ?
Okay, what do you have in mind?
All right, well, we're going to start simple. There's actually like all the downstream users of XZ, such as the Debian Linux project. They've actually got lists of maintainers of all the dependencies they use. We'll just talk to them together, make sure we can add you to the list.
And how about announcements? Maybe I can draft some emails for you?
Sounds like a great idea. Actually, the announcements currently still go on my website, which I still... Do you have any experience being a webmaster?
I've got you covered. You know, why don't we use this opportunity to look at the entire tech stack? Like,
Right.
I noticed that the project is still on SourceForge. Shall we move to GitHub?
That would be awesome. You know, this all sounds great. I've really been meaning to do that. I just didn't have the time. You know what? It's great. Let's do that. Let me give you some credentials. You're sure you don't mind doing all this?
I'll manage.
Congratulations, comrade. It's taken 15 months, but your hard work has paid off.
You now co-own the source repository and you're listed as fellow maintainer of the XZ library with all the major Linux distributions.
And you even sent the announcements to the community. Good job, we're in.
Well, it was a team effort. I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thanks.
Good news, guys. I found a way to include binary payload data in the XZ project without raising suspicion.
Good news, guys. The exec project uses a landlock feature to reduce its own permissions immediately after loading. That might get in the way of installing backdoors. I'm rather proud of what I came up with. I found a way to disable landlock without raising suspicion. Even if someone checks my commits, I doubt they will realize.
Good news, guys. We want to enable ifunc to allow us to override kernel function tables, right? Well, I found the perfect excuse to enable ifunc in XZ. I've cooked up a patch that checks for the fastest checksum algorithm available for the architecture. This way we won't raise suspicion, and we use this later on in our backdoor to override the kernel function tables.
Guys, we have a problem. Guys, yes. Somebody just posted a patch to the libsystemd project that postpones loading XZ long enough so we can no longer mess with the function tables. If this patch gets accepted, all our hard work for the past 2 years would be for nothing. I need your help.
What?
We are so close.
How do they know?
I don't think they do. The aim of this patch is to simply postpone loading XZ long enough so if nothing needs to be decompressed. They're just trying to save some resources during boot. Unlucky, I guess. But now it's a race. We need to make sure that we use our control of XZ to all to compromise all major Linux distros before this is accepted. Are we ready to go for right now?
Well, we are nearly there.
Good.
I know some shortcuts. I think we can get it done in time.
I'll start working on another Crasher campaign. We need the Debian maintainers to update to our backdoored version as soon as it's ready. I'll start making some accounts to make it look like there's lots of community support. Hello Debian, I am Hans Janssen from Germany. There's an update available for the executable package. This release only fixes bugs. Hello Ubuntu, I am Hans Janssen from Germany. There's an update available for the executable package. This release only fixes bugs. Debian has already updated to use it. Can you update?
Now, we just saw a reenactment of an attack on an open source library that happened a year and a half ago. Don't worry if you missed anything, we will go over it in a minute. My name is Roel Spilker.
My name is Reinier Zwitserloot. Now, you might recognize these suits. We also maintain Project Lombok. And you might even recognize the picture because we write the column in the NL Java magazine.
As open source maintainer, this attack hits close to home. Reinier and I are also both security experts, and we are scared. Reinier, how did the internet nearly die?
All right. Let me try to explain what happened. Okay. What does the internet run on, Roel?
Computers and routers running Linux.
Yeah, most of them. But how does Linux start?
I don't know.
Right. Okay. Well, the kernel starts. Kernel does its thing, but then kernel's done, and we need to actually start running the system. So what the kernel does is it runs one application. The application it runs is hard-coded, and it's called init. And of course, init runs as root, right? Init is just a program. Init is the one that starts all your services. Now, init, being just a program, has dependencies. It doesn't have very many, but Roel,
Yeah?
can you guess one dependency?
Exit?
Exactly. So here's the plan of Yetan and his hacking crew. They're going to compromise exec so that exec is going to scan for SSH being loaded. You know, SSH, the program you use to log into Linux. It can do that because init loads before SSH does. So exec loads before SSH does. What it's going to do, it's going to inject an alternate form of authentication into SSH based on public-private key crypto. So if a private key that Yetan has signs a login request with SSH, it'll be allowed. That means we're about 2 days out from Yetan being able to log into pretty much any system on the internet.
That sounds bad. I would hate for them to have control over the entire internet. The damage they could do. Reinier, shall we go over the things that they did and find out what we can learn from their attacks?
Right, because you want to come up with a comprehensive defense against supply chain attacks, right?
No, I wouldn't mind owning the internet myself.
I see.
I want to learn from their actions and their mistakes so I can do a better job. Can you remind me how they started?
Yeah, of course. Let's go through it, right? Yetan started off being actually useful. Small patches. We're not hacking yet, right? They started off with a simple null check, right? Or maybe even documentation. It doesn't have to be all that useful. It just has to be simple.
So what I learned is I should start small and probably even use a static code analyzer to find potential bugs and then create the patches for those. And that wouldn't be suspicious because that is what other contributors do as well.
Exactly.
Good.
You build up some trust.
Yeah?
But then the next step. The next step, social pressure. If you've guys been following along with a couple of open source projects, you know how this goes, right? It's comments like, why is this taking so long? Or a comment like, hey, why don't you just keyword there, just merge these pull requests that somebody else made because it solves my problem. Pressure like that.
Please raise your hand if you have ever asked for updates on an open source project. I guess that asking for updates is also not suspicious. And I can easily find some long open-standing issues, ask for updates, and I can even use multiple accounts for that.
Yeah? Hey, we've got AI these days, makes it even easier.
Yeah.
Now, we sometimes have these issues with Project Lombok as well, where like people literally type +1, even though there's a button for that, right? Now, we just ignore those comments, or sometimes we even delete them. We don't want to be rude, but we do want to be clear, Nederlandse directheid. But, I mean, we feel the pressure, right?
They were talking about landlock,
Yeah.
compromising it. What is it, and how can I abuse it?
Well, landlock is just one of the many things they did. It's a way to disable a security feature. They saw it, and they went for it. I'm going to show you the commit, because it's quite an interesting one. But before I do, you should really pay attention, Roel.
Yeah.
This is actually the first commit that is malicious.
Uh-huh.
Up until this time, they were actually useful.
Yeah.
This is the first time we know they were up to no good. And Roel, even more important for you, nobody figured it out at the time.
No, I'm curious. Let me see it.
All right, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Roel,
Yes.
what are we looking at?
A bunch of C code.
This is a Java conference, Roel.
Yeah, I have no idea.
All right, okay. How are we going to solve this problem? I have an idea.
Yeah.
How about I explain what this patch is trying to do first, give you a sporting chance.
Okay.
Maybe give the audience a sporting chance as well.
Okay.
All right. Landlock is a security feature. It's like an additional layer. What Landlock allows you to do is give away rights piecemeal, and it's especially important for applications that run as root. For example, any application that runs as root can open any TCP/IP port. If you're not interested as an app on ever doing that, you can give away the right to do that, and obviously you cannot get it back when you do that. It's just an extra measure. There is one problem though. Not all platforms actually support it. Now, unfortunately it's C, so the way you solve that problem is with the preprocessor. You detect that there is no landlock, and when you realize during compilation that landlock isn't supported, then you just if-def your way around not adding the calls to landlock to say, I'm going to give away my right to do X. Now, this patch is all about detecting whether landlock support is available or not.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now,
I'm going to try.
audience, Roel,
Yeah.
let's have a look at the patch again.
So if
What's wrong with it?
If I look at the red code, they look for the existence of the file landlock.h, and if that exists, then landlock is available. Like if the header file is there, then it's fine. But they removed that code, so because it's red, so they added the other code. They say check C source compiles, and they pass a C program as a string argument,
It's
so that the pre-compiler can compile a C program while it's compiling exec. I give up.
Yeah, I think you're happy you're a Java programmer, right?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm a Java programmer. Yeah. Too much magic here.
But why are they doing this really convoluted compiling while compiling so we know what to compile on the compiling thing?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a comment.
True.
It says that checking for the existence of landlock.h is not good enough. You sometimes have a false positive.
That's not a lie, that is really true.
Is it really true?
That's not the malicious part of this.
Okay, okay. So you want to know what's malicious about it?
Yeah, so I told you, Roel, it's malicious. So what is wrong with it?
I don't know that much about C, but
You do not need to know C to figure out what's wrong with this thing. A Java programmer will be able to tell.
The include statements could be wrong.
No, I'm afraid that's just C.
Ah.
Audience, I think our boy here needs some help. Does any of you see what the problem is? Nope.
For each.
Nope. It's just C. It's more confusing than you think. Wow, I think it's not just Roel that missed the point. I think you all missed the point. Yeah, you guys get it right. That C code in the C code, that will never compile. There's a syntax error in it. You can't put a dot there. We were kind of hoping somebody with red-green color blindness would spot it because they were looking at the margin. It's a really neat trick, right? And this actually worked. This commit was accepted, and nobody realized. XZ was not going to give away rights via landlock for like a year. Nobody figured this one out. All right. Roel,
Yeah.
I guess you want to know what we can learn from that sort of thing?
I guess looking for projects in C?
The Rust people are going to like him, but that's not actually the lesson here.
Oh.
See, while that was really cool, they didn't even use that in the end. That means they just saw an opportunity, an easy way to disable something, maybe open a door for later, and they just took it. So there's a lesson for you, Roel. Don't plan it all out in advance. If you see an easy opportunity, that's what you jump on.
Okay, I'm making notes here. They also mentioned ifunc. What was that all about?
Okay, ifunc is like in C, they want to like dynamically update function tables, and it's like the Java reflection library, but in C, you need to like add an include for that sort of thing, and they need an. You know what, Roel? I don't think it matters. I think you're missing the point again.
Right, I think I get it. Messing with ifunc tables, disabling landlock, these were the weakest points for this project. These hackers spent a long time with this project and they knew all about the weak points. What I should do is I shouldn't overanalyze what they did. For my target, I should invest in figuring out what the weakest point is for those projects.
Exactly. So here's the thing, right? Exec itself, that was kind of the low-hanging fruit of init. Because trust me, guys, if you try to add some commits to init, way more eyeballs are checking that out, right? And init, in its own way, is sort of like the weak point, or at least an easy point to get into the Linux kernel. And the Linux kernel is an easy way to control the entire internet.
But that's good news for me, because surely every project has these weak points. For example, I bet that I can target this random open source maintainer in Nebraska with a social engineering attack.
Yeah, see, now you're getting it. He's thinking like an attacker.
Yes.
That tends to be the best way to find low-hanging fruit. Now, running static code analyzers, that's easier, but that's not going to eliminate all weak points, right? Any simple list of measures, and sort of like tick the box, right? That's not really going to find all weak points. Thinking like an attacker, that might do it, though.
Thank you.
Now, it's not as easy, but it is more fun. Just do me a favor and don't just like go through a couple of checklists and say, yep, we've taken care of security. It's just not how it works. Now, actually, it gets even worse. You gotta, it's tricky. If you think about exec, right, the hackers, they know exactly what measurements you're taking. It's being developed out in the open. Whatever measurements you take, they're gonna know about it, right? They're active participants. If you implement some measure, they're gonna notice, they're gonna adapt, they're gonna find something else. So you got to close all holes. It's very difficult.
But what about closed source then? I mean, are all these attacks only on open source projects?
Of course not. You got to think, Roel.
Yeah.
If a team of attackers is patient enough to spend 2 years being an active contributor to an open source project, not hacking yet, right? If they're patient enough for that, then they're also patient enough to apply for a job, get hired, start being a productive programmer, I guess the helper elf equivalent of working for the man, and just building up trust and maybe doing some research from the inside, figuring out how things work.
Yeah, but as if that is ever going to happen.
Yeah, I guess I'm sort of painting a James Bond plot here. But Roel,
yeah,
it did happen. It happened quite recently. There's this US company named SecureWorks.
SecureWorks.
I don't know if you guys heard of this, but it's an amazing story. They decided to try hiring remotely programmers, as you do, so, by video call. And they found a guy, he had a decent CV, had an employment history, which was all faked because this was a North Korean hacker. But they didn't know that at the time. So this North Korean hacker, fortunately for SecureWorks, did not follow our advice. They were kind of useless from the first month. So after 4 months, he got fired. But after he got fired, he did them the courtesy of saying, hey, during the 4 months I worked there, I downloaded everything from the internet, and if you want me to delete that, then pay me some Bitcoin. All right? Now, I think SecureWorks is actually really lucky that this guy just wanted money, because the exec people, they wanted a little more, they were more patient. By the way, Roel,
Yeah.
SecureWorks, they never actually said if they paid the ransom or not.
Ah, so they paid. Good.
Probably.
Even more targets for me.
Uh-huh.
But now, the most important lesson for me.
Uh-huh.
Why did they fail? Or did they?
All right. We left you all hanging before. We were at the point that XZ is fully compromised. Debian and most of the other Linuxes are about ready to introduce into their main branches. So we're 2 days out from total disaster. And then, this guy happened.
Who is this guy? Surely I need to know who this guy is. I want to avoid him.
Yeah, Roel, I get why you would say that, but it's a wrong lesson again, because this guy, he's just a random guy. He's not an XZ maintainer. That is not Lasse Collin. His job isn't to review commits. He doesn't work in security. He's not a maintainer of Debian or Ubuntu or any other Linux distro. He's just a guy. But if you see him, owe him a couple of drinks. He's a maintainer of Postgres, and he was just doing some performance testing of Postgres, and during a testing session, he just noticed something that was slightly weird, and he decided to dig a little deeper.
Oh, micro-benchmarking. I see the mistake they made. The compromised code checks all incoming connections for the private key, and Andres noticed the performance penalty. They could have easily tweaked the code to only check for the private key if some other condition was true, like a username as well.
Probably.
I wonder if they made this mistake because they were rushed.
Yes, they were rushed, right? They had to hurry, so they made mistakes.
Yes.
Now, you asked, did they fail?
Yeah.
Yes, they did, because of Andres. However, well, their attempt failed because these guys did not get caught. They are still out there.
So, do we have any idea who they are?
Not really. There are a few clues, though. Like here's our friend Jiatan. He said he came from Singapore. He usually connected from Singapore, but from time to time they connected from somewhere else. They might have forgotten to turn their VPN on. Also, suspiciously, everything they did, the patches, but also all the comments on the mailing list, it was always during office hours.
Ah, they were professionals.
Yeah, I bet they had Scrum meetings and everything.
Yeah.
Of course, when I say office hours, then, well, you're programmers, you know what that means. That means time zone. Moscow office hours. So it's circumstantial evidence, but we're pretty sure Russian state hackers.
And apart from these procedural mistakes, did they make any other?
They made a couple, like for example with Debian, they actually used the wrong procedure. Somebody at Debian noticed and they sent an email that's really like, this isn't right. But it didn't matter, he still got through. You know, that reminds me, you know what you really, really need, the best lesson of all? What you need? Luck. It was lucky, they made mistakes, they got through it. On the other hand, it was unlucky that Andres Freund noticed a small performance issue and got you guys caught.
Let me... So, you're saying that all that is standing between me and owning the internet is some low-hanging fruit and a little bit of luck.
Yeah, there's one more thing standing in between, and that is Jiatan and team, because they are still out there. You're going to have to beat them to the punch, Roel. I don't think they quit.
Yeah, okay.
I think this requires way more discussion.
Yeah, you are right, but not now. I have seen the lineup for this afternoon, and there are some great speakers remaining. We are just running out of time now.
Oh no. Man, as Lombok maintains, we got this great story about NASA, an American Space Agency, about, I guess I'm gonna have to wait until we have drinks?
Yes, Reinier, raw credits. That's all, folks.